So hi everyone, my name is Kate Cross. I'm the director of the Career Center, and I'm excited that you're here to join us for our first question answer session. I know this is a crazy time, and you must have a lot of questions about job and internship search in a pandemic. So we're here to help guide you through that. We're going to be having regular virtual events like this, but we also have individual appointments that you can go on to Handshake and log on, and you can address those individual needs and set up appointments that way. So we already have a handful of great questions that were submitted. And if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat box, but we want to keep this short and sweet. So one, we don't lose you. And we'll be going in depth into other topics as we go along through the weeks. But I have my great panel of experts that I also want to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started. So Dale, I'll throw it over to you first.
Great, thanks, Kate. I'm Dale McLennan. I'm the Dean of the Internship and Career Center, so happy to join you. It's our first pandemic too, so we're all with you in terms of it being a strange time, and we're here for you. We're here to guide you and help you in any way we can. Over to you, Brenda.
Hi, I'm Brenda Campbell. I'm the Director of Employer Relations, and I work with employers, and during this hard time we're trying to connect with them and keep you abreast of where and when and how to manage your job search. So Lisa, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lisa Carrozza. I'm the Internship and Employer Outreach Liaison for Connecticut and New York, here to bring you and answer any questions and information about geographic specific.
And I'm Helen Eaton, one of the career advisors, and just want you to know we're here to help you any way we can, and we're all in this together and we'll get through it.
That we will. So we'll get started. Our first question is, I'm worried about the job market, and what is the best strategy to take in my job search at this point? So Dale, I'm going to throw that over to you. I'll be moderating today, and I'm going to kind of filter out the questions and also give advice as well.
Great, thanks, Kate. I have a few pieces of advice, and then hopefully you guys will weigh in too on this. But my thought around the job search is, because there's so much uncertainty right now, is to take this time to think about your industry that you want to go into and really understand how the crisis is affecting your industry. You can research, but you can also reach out to your network. Think about your previous internship sites, maybe reach out and check with a former supervisor or two. Check in with them just to see how they're doing. Quite honestly, everybody can use a little compassion, at this time of their lives. And but you can also ask them, what's going on with the industry? When do you see things turning around, if you even know that? So kind of first get the lay of the land. Some industries may be impacted more than others, and some may be impacted in certain geographic areas more than others. So you can kind of suss that out and see if you're willing to relocate potentially. But also kind of have maybe a plan B. Like, think about, given what you want to do, what are the relevant skill sets that are really important to that field, and can you get that in some other way? So just a quick example. So if you're in the hospitality industry, we know that that's really been impacted terribly by this health crisis. And if you're not really sure when that's going to be able to turn around, and you want to look at just a plan B, something you could do if you can't find a job in the field that you want to go into, maybe it's something that's related to customer service, where you can build an important skill set that's going to be applicable moving forward, because this is just temporary. And I guess the third piece of advice that comes to my mind is, if you have to do your plan B, keep in mind that it's temporary. Don't feel like, okay, I'm going to have to sort of take this major detour in my career and keep at it for years and years. Keep in touch with your network in your field. Keep moving toward your actual goal, even if you have to work temporarily in another field.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head a little bit too, in terms of coming up with that plan B, but really having that plan B make sense and something that you feel comfortable with. And how does that plan B align, or is going to get you to that plan A? So making sure that just fits, or you can weave it into your story. Because again, everyone is going through something similar. So this is going to be something that everyone's going to be dealing with, but I think that if you can get comfortable with that plan B or plan C, it's going to make it a lot easier in terms of explaining it moving forward. Any other suggestions or advice in terms of, this job strategy search, everyone?
Sounded good.
I think if you are applying, and you see things that are open, I think it's really important to make sure that when you are reaching out and you're addressing, as Dale was saying, being a little empathetic and making sure you're not applying just like it's any other time of life, that you really make sure that you address what's happening with the pandemic and making sure that you're understanding that things are difficult for them at this time, but then also highlighting their qualifications for the position. Okay. One down. All right, I'm gonna throw it over to our employer specialists. So should I be reaching out to employers right now? Lisa and Brenda, take it away.
So I guess I'll start. I think the biggest thing is that you have to realize is that the employer is going through what you're going through right now. So they're, going from working in an office or being in a school to going to remote. So there's such a transition to get their team to be that way as well. So I think, if you're just starting your job search, right now is probably not the right time to be reaching out to every employer. Without being very empathetic, for sure. But no, if someone's applying, if there's an actual posting that's current and just got posted, then that's perfectly fine to be reaching out and making sure being empathetic. But just to reach out to employers wide band, I think right now is they're trying to figure out how they're working. And for some cases, companies are downsizing or having to, manage that change in hiring. Or postpone hiring a little, so just to give them time to figure that out a little bit. Lisa, your thoughts?
I think that if you are reaching out to employers, that asking about a timeline is going to be very important, and to be cognizant of the fact that timelines are going to be looking very different in this day and age. So that's one big piece of advice. As always, just ask about the timeline, and it might not jive with your timeline, but just be patient.
And I also think, as I've been coaching students, making sure that the posting is recent, because I don't know if you can really trust postings that have been up 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago even. So really make sure that they are recent, so you'll know that that is a true posting. You don't have to waste your time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should be applying to something that's more than a week away, 10 days away, because things have changed so rapidly from, it's day to day at this point, but really try to stay within the week. If you see a posting, you should act on it thoughtfully and empathetically, but absolutely apply if it's available.
That's a good point, Brenda. I think that sometimes students and other job seekers will be checking sites for job postings or internship postings maybe once a week or twice a week, but in the time that we're in right now, it is feasible. It is to be checking every day as things are changing.
Because on the good news front, I was working with a student who just got back to me, a couple hours ago, that he does have an interview tomorrow. So I mean, people are still moving forward. So there is glimmers of hope in there.
Right.
I agree, because I definitely think there's definite industries that are absolutely thriving and needing support from both internships and recent grads. It's just, knowing or asking our advice on where that might be, so we can help guide you a little bit.
Okay, we ready to move on to the next question?
Yep.
All right. So what good resources and advice do you have for individuals searching for jobs and internships during this time? And I will. Do you want to talk through a little bit about Career Shift?
Absolutely can do that. I was thinking that I might even show it potentially, if we thought that was a good idea, or I can definitely just talk about it to begin with. So we have this great resource, especially for our seniors, and it's called Career Shift. And we can give you a login, but what Career Shift does is it provides all the openings from all websites, including some of the company portals. And it goes back for a week. It's about a week to 10 days. So very current postings based on area and majors and industries. And it's a great place, similar to Handshake, where you can really deep dive and find jobs. But this can help. You can start building folders, and you can really have a saved search. So if you're specifically looking for hospitality, which is tough right now, but say you're looking for sales, where there's definitely hiring in sales, you can save these searches and keep pulling them up every couple days and see who else is posting in your area. So it's a great tool. And for anyone who's interested, we can definitely share the login and get you ready to be proficient in Career Shift.
There's also, and we talk about this a lot, because there's not a ton that you can control right now, but you can get really comfortable with doing, research, and Career Shift can also, help with that research in terms of getting contacts. But a lot of interviewing, if it, it happens, it's going to be virtual. So really getting comfortable with interviewing online. So using our interview stream, which is the tool that you can practice online interviewing and record your interviews. We have interviews already up there that you can take. You can make a recording of yourself. You can send it to us so we can give you feedback on it. But you can get a sense of what you're doing well, what things you have to work on, so you can really crush it when you do have to do that virtual interview. And I think using, using your those resources and really getting, I think we're going to deep dive a little bit more into, again, using LinkedIn, about just doing a ton of research on the companies and trying to understand, are they hiring? Are they laying off? So understanding what they're doing, it's going, you're going to be able to see that the more you research each company that you're going after. So making sure that you're doing all the research you can is going to be very helpful.
And Kate, I'll add to that in terms of the research is that, if you're wherever you are geographically, if you're looking online at some of the business journals that talk about what companies are hiring and which companies are not doing so well, like you can really get a good pulse of what's going on in the business world. And you can usually get that information for free without having any sort of subscription. So I'd pay attention to things like that. Boston NO is a great one if you're interested in the Boston scene, especially around tech companies. But Boston Business Journal, you can get a lot of free content there. And each geographic area is going to have something similar to that.
That's great advice.
And then, so before you even, now I don't know if this is a separate question, Kate, but just prepping your LinkedIn profile before you start to really dig into any reaching out would be important. And we're going to do a more in-depth one on LinkedIn, but just a couple things to get you started. Like, make sure you have a good photo of just yourself, and kind of gives a little bit of your personality, but in a professional way would be great. And then your headline, you want something short, captures who you are, just brief, to the point, and have, if you need help, maybe, you're around family, maybe friends, whatever you could reach out to, ask people to give you like 5 characteristics about who you are to them. See what pops out, and maybe you can use something there, and then you can reach out to us and we can look at it. And then, so that's just your headline. But then you want a nice little summary that would make someone want to reach out to you, and just really tries to capture who you are and what you have to offer. So those are a few things just to start with. And then you can start following companies that you're interested in. Just follow them and see when people write something. Maybe you can make a comment or just like it. those are a few things to just start with, just you know, practical tips. And once again, same thing, we're happy to look at it with you, try to just make it the best it can possibly be.
Which also may be something that you said, when you have this time, is utilizing some of the online education sites. So I know a couple students have started to get certificates, whether it be the inbound certification for marketing, or utilizing some of these free platforms to get some of those certificates, because we have heard from students that are interviewing right now, like employers are asking what you're doing during this time. Do you know what I mean? Like, what have you done to stay productive? So, thinking about how you can build your skill set and upskill a little bit is going to be great for them to hear, to know that you spent your time wisely and thinking about your professional future. All right. So we're coming to the last question, but or the ones that have been submitted, what is the best ways to network virtually during this time? I don't know, Helen, if you want to talk a little bit right now about networking on LinkedIn, and I can go into some other things.
I think staying in touch with people that maybe you've already been connected with, but just in a more relaxed way, like, how are you doing during this? How is your company adjusting? And so not a big ask right away, like seeing, is there anything I can do to help you? And then the other way would be, you can even follow people too. You don't have to connect with them. If it's people that are in your industry, you can start by following them, see what they're doing if you have a certain industry you're interested in. And just, making connections too, though, because that is what LinkedIn's for. So if people are there, they want to connect with people, and people want to help if they can, whether just some advice, or it may not be, a job right away, but it's these little steps along the way to connections that are helpful.
I think you said it well, is that it's not, there's no big asks here. It's just a small understanding what the market's doing, and how their industries are handling it. We also do have a great platform called the Nest. The nest.endicott.edu, and we'll do another session like this so I can walk you all through it and do a video on it so you understand how to use it a little bit better. But what's very cool about that is that we've had alum sign up for it, and it's a Flash Mentor platform. So alum can talk to alum can talk to students, and in the profile, it looks similar to a LinkedIn profile. It tells them how they want to help. So a few students have been on it, and they said they've gotten great responses. So it really is a nice way to have already a warm connection, in a way that people have already said that they're willing to help in XYZ way. So hopefully you'll get some good responses there and start engaging with some alum there that may be in your industry. All right, Brent, or does anyone else have any other ideas for virtual connections?
I was quickly going to add to that is when you're on LinkedIn, also think of groups you might want to be involved in. There are some great groups to follow, and they provide incredible content at this time, especially that could help and coach you on how to approach different avenues. But it's also, you'll get to meet people within that group potentially that you may want to connect with on that level, which may open doors down the road.
Oh, or Brenda, you made me think of that too. The virtual info sessions that companies are doing too may also be a great way to spend time, familiarizing yourself with companies. Those are things that you can mention when you're applying for jobs, that you've been engaged with them in some way, shape, or form.
Right, absolutely. And we'll have some of those on Handshake soon from some great companies that you can participate in question and answer virtual sessions. So it will be a great way to connect, and those soon could be your LinkedIn connections as well.
Because we are utilizing Handshake, I think, way more now in terms of putting up all of those virtual events that we're going to be hosting, but as well as what companies are doing, or organizations are also having panels for students on this topic as well. So those are things that we'll be posting in Handshake. So those events I think are going to be really beneficial for all students in the job search process.
Now's a great time to become a specialist in all things Handshake. If you have
Yeah.
some free time on your hands,
Right.
log in, start or complete your profile, get some
Absolutely.
documents of yours up there, and really go through and learn each of the modules, because they'll be really helpful in every aspect, whether it's the networking, the information gathering, the actively applying, interviewing, etc. But why not become a Handshake specialist right now?
I love it.
Yeah. The profile, get that really up and going,
Yeah.
because the employers reach out based
They
on
do.
profiles.
If you have a complete profile, you definitely stand out.
So that's the last of our questions. Are there any other questions that popped up, Helen?
Let me double check in the chat. I think we've covered it. Everything I've seen, yeah, it's been covered.
So again, we're going to be doing this regularly on different topics. This was much more general topic today, but we're going to be doing some deep dives into some other topics and resources that are going to be really helpful for you during this time. But if you have any questions, we are here to help. We're here, to do those individual appointments. So, if you need if you want to bounce anything off us, we are all here to help you during this time. So please reach out. And other than that, I think everyone have a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and we're here to
Thank
help.
you.
Thanks, guys.